10 years in the joint, man. 10 years in the joint, maintaining integrity and dignity. I know what it's like to be retaliated against by the Department of Corrections for authoring 12 federal lawsuits, 300 grievances for staff corruption, misconduct of inmates. I know what it's like to be called nigger by multiple of, Dr. King would say, our sick white brothers in the Department of Corrections. You understand? Wearing the gray and black, all right? The colors I were there were dark blue and orange, you understand? A clown suit, you understand what I'm telling you?
Yes,
so
sir.
for me, I understand what it's like to be there. And my heart goes out to the men and women stuck there because of COVID. Look here, man, the Michigan Department of Corrections in the state of Michigan, they don't issue death sentences. Capital punishment is illegal in the state of Michigan. But when you have a man or woman stuck in a COVID situation, particularly in the African-American community, that is a death sentence. Make no mistake about it. That is a death sentence. And saying that you're gonna put somebody in a special building, that don't mean nothing. There's no cure. There's no cure for COVID, brother. There's no cure for COVID. The elderly, the people with immune deficiency syndrome, those people are walking dead. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. So for me, when you say something different, I'm gonna tell you one thing I'm gonna do that's different. Under the Engler administration, they changed the law. If you were denied a parole, for example, you could appeal that at one time, okay? Appeal the denial of parole. With John Engler and his crew, they changed the law. So if the parole board denies you a parole, you can't do nothing about that. You just hit. You know, when you get a flop, you just hit. You got to wait till they see you again. But if you are granted a parole, the prosecutor's got the authority to go to a circuit court judge and say, no, no, no. The parole board made a mistake. This person should not be released, you see? So for me, one thing I'm gonna do is this. Unless the safety of you and the people you love the most, Mr. Bridges, is at stake, when a person proves to the parole board they're worthy of parole, I'm not gonna stand in nobody's way, man. I'm not gonna stand in their way, okay? Unless I have to, because I want that person coming back, having a chance to be a part of the community again. My thing is restorative justice, which is based on making the victim whole. I can make the victim whole by making our streets safe. When we don't saddle people coming back with disrespect, scorn, derision, finger pointing, looking their nose down at people, laughing, snickering at people. When we stop that, like the prosecutor who's been through hell and come back, then all that's gonna change, man. We got a 70% recidivism rate in Washtenaw County, 70%. This is the 4th richest county in the entire state. You know, they got a lot of rich people here in Washtenaw County. They got a lot of jobs here. But I can tell you right now what it's like to be discriminated against because of my criminal justice experience. Can't get a job at Myers stacking tomato cans, okay? A man with my education and background. Think about what happens. You got a young black man coming out that's got a GED, you know, maybe some culinary arts, building trade, or some computer skills. They don't stand a chance. That's why within the first 45 days of my administration, I'm having a summit with every chamber of commerce in Washtenaw County, telling them, you are doing yourselves a favor by giving a person coming back from the penitentiary a fair chance. You don't have to cut that person off because they got a criminal justice experience. People that are on parole have the more reason to be model citizens because they're being watched, you see? So if you're concerned about somebody, that's why we got probationary periods. Michigan is a right to work state. Ain't nobody got no automatic right to a job unless you got some kind of collective bargaining agreement. So what I'm saying is that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kick it real to every employer. It is in your public best interest, in the interest of your business, to give people a fair chance and let people reintegrate, brother, than try to be recidivists. So that's one thing I'm gonna do right off the rip.
That's love. Hey, speaking about ex-felons, and we're gonna go down that track right now. That track is dear to me because of course I'm an ex-felon. And what have you actually done while you were out here in hell to actually help the ex-felons? Is there anything that you've done in your resume that you can share with the people, what you've done to help ex-felons?
Yes. Okay, one thing I did, let me give you a little bit of background. When I was paying a debt I did not owe, my license was revoked.
Your law license?
My law license was taken from me.
Well, let them hear it then. Say it, law license. Let them hear it, man.
Yeah, my law license was revoked, you know, and I hearken back to a man by the name of Muhammad Ali, you see. When that man was in his prime, them people took his boxing license from him, you understand? They thought they was crippling him, they was going to devastate him. They thought he would never, ever be boxing again. Well, many people wrote me off too. But you see, My life is not governed by what people say. My life is governed by what God says. You understand?
Amen.
So
bro.
I knew in my heart I'd been done wrong, but most importantly, God knew. It takes a lot of character, brother. Have people snicking at you, talking about you, putting you down, and all that stuff. Oh, he was a lawyer. Look at him now. Look at him now. You know, yeah, he got a bar number, all right. Yeah, prison bar number. That's what he got. So all that, I took all that. So when I finished parole in 2005, I started the process of petitioning the Supreme Court itself, telling them, look here, I'm a man that got done wrong. But even if you believe that I'm a guilty person, check out my integrity. Let me tell you something, brother. When I was convicted, and let's be honest about this, by that all-white rural jury in Monroe County, a case that was supposed to be tried in Wayne County, but when I filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Washtenaw County for wrongful termination, mysteriously the case got switched to Monroe County. Wow. Now, Tyrone, you're a very intelligent man. Now, when it comes to picking a jury, what you think you might find a bunch of on the streets of Detroit that you ain't gonna find none of on the streets of Monroe, okay? You know, you see? And I don't need to spell it out clearer than that. You know where I'm kicking it, okay?
Exactly.
So people are afraid of a diverse jury. When I'm the prosecutor, I'm gonna do everything I can to have every black, brown, LGBTQ, everybody on that jury. I want a jury to look like the community that we represent. See, that's not happening now. That ain't happening now.
That's right. Y'all heard it from him say that. Hugo Mack just made a commitment if he's elected prosecutor.
That's
now,
right.
Go ahead, bro. I just had to shout that out because I wanted to make sure everybody heard what you just said.
That's right. That's right. You see, because I'm the only one in this race that's defended over 800 victims of domestic violence. I'm the only one in this race that has offended thousands of juveniles, all right? Most of them black, brown, and poor, all right? Protecting their constitutional rights.
And on the South Side, growing up like me.
That's right. That's right. You see what I'm saying is, I remember your late mama, man. You know, I know her. Her and I kicked it many, many a time. And much love and respect to Leola Bridges, man, because I'm telling you, you was a young sheriff, you probably don't remember, but I remember real well up there at Platte Road. You see what I'm saying? Your mama lit that place up. I'm telling you, she lit it up.
I'm an offspring. I'm lighting this up too. So I'm
glad
you remember.
Much love and respect. See what I'm saying? She not only did that for her kids, which she was fierce. That woman was fierce when it came to protecting her kids. But man, even up in there, people she really didn't even know, but heard about their case. She spoke up for them. I said, man, so this is much love and respect. Hey, Tyrone, I'm not telling you what I heard, brother. I'm telling you what I know.
That's right.
I'm telling you what I know.
That's right. You said you did something else also. I don't mean to cut you off. You said you did something else to help felons. What initiative you led to help felons?
Okay, well, the first thing I did, one of the things I did when I got my license back, praise God, the Michigan Supreme Court did something they never done in 185 years, brother. That's like 30 years before the Civil War. That's how long ago this has been, okay?
Wow.
They said, Mr. Mack, we find you to be a man of character and integrity. We looked at everything that's happened to you. We looked at how you stood up to the parole board, told the parole board after 10 years, they said, we'll let you out right now. But you ain't never said you guilty. We don't let people out that don't say they're guilty. So either you tell us you're guilty or we're going to put you back in. You're going to max out. Wow. How many people in this race have the integrity to say, I spent 10 years in here with the truth. I'd rather go back and die with the truth than be one day with a lie. Told them to have a good day. Tell the warden, sweep out my cell. I'm going back because apparently you must want me to lie to get out. Wow. The next thing I knew, them people ordered my release, Tyrone. They ordered my release. See, that's what integrity, you willing to put your life on the line for something will do. I would rather die than bow my knee to a lie, Tyrone. I'd rather die than bow my knee to injustice. So the same thing happened with the Michigan Supreme Court. I told them, I would rather die than tell y'all something that I know is a lie, something I know dang on well I didn't do. They did something they never done. They restored my law license. Wow. So the next time somebody get on your show at 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, talk about they got integrity, put their integrity up to mine, Tyrone. See, anybody can talk about they got integrity when they ain't been tested. My integrity been tested 7 times in the fire, came out pure as silver. That's where I'm coming from.
Well, they gonna be on the right show. They're gonna be on the right show because this show is fire and it ain't paid for by nobody either. It's paid for by my black self. And like I said, no hold barred. I'm glad you said some. I remember Could you talk a little bit more about the felony checkbox initiative? Because at the time, I remember I was a commissioner appointed by Paul Schreiber, Mayor Paul Schreiber of Ypsilanti at the time, and unanimously selected to serve as a human relations commissioner. And that was like my leading mission.
Well,
so
yes.
You, talk a little bit more about that, please.
Yeah, see, for me, not only as a person with a criminal justice experience, but as a criminal defense attorney that dedicated my life to try to help people reintegrate, I've known the shackle of a conviction, brother. And I testified in front of the Ypsilanti City Council a couple, maybe 3-4 months ago, telling them, pass that city ordinance banning the box. In case people don't know what that means, quit asking people if you got a felony, check right here, okay? Because we're gonna hold that against you. I don't go for that trash about, well, if you got a felony, well, it don't mean you ain't gonna get the job. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You see, because people continue to judge you by the past, not by your present and the future. So for me, I supported that. I supported banning the box, and thank goodness, I think thanks to some groundwork laid by you and probably people like you, the ordinance was passed. So I'm proud of Ypsilanti to do that. But see, let me tell you something, Tyrone. Let me tell you something. You asked what I'm gonna do in terms of people with felonies. Like I said, one thing I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna hold your past against you when you get a parole. I'm not gonna be saying, no, put you back in the jail, you see, or the prison, because 87% of the people in the prison come out. 100% of the people in the jail come out. So it's not if people are gonna come out, the only question is when, you see?
Right.
So for me, in terms of fighting for people, I've also been out here now 10 years, representing primarily victims of domestic violence, poor women, disproportionately Black women, Hispanic women, all right? You see, let me tell you something about some of the phony liberals, Tyrone, and I'm just gonna kick it real. I'm just gonna kick it real.
That's what the show is for. Run it.
See, some of these people talking about they're all in favor of victims of domestic violence. Well, they do that only as long as their privilege doesn't get tired. You see, because it's fighting for victims of domestic violence today, it'll be saved to Wales next week. You understand? So for me, it is an ongoing struggle. I see, because I'm a reader. There's a man by the name of Frantz Fanon who once wrote a book called Pedagogy of the Oppressed, you know, about people's liberation for struggle, you know, in Algeria, and how systemic racism was there and just typified worldwide. See, I think, Tyrone, what we need to do in Washtenaw County, we need to elect a prosecutor who is not going to live the fallacy of being colorblind, but the reality of being color brave. You understand?
Wow. Say that again, man. Repeat that one more time. They need to hear that one more time.
See, the people of Washtenaw County need to elect a prosecutor who is not going to keep on with this bovine that we colorblind. We are not colorblind. The country has never, ever been colorblind. We need to elect a prosecutor, the chief law enforcement officer of the county, who says from January 1st, 2021, we the people will be color brave, Tyrone. Color brave.
Powerful.
Color brave.
That's powerful.
See?
That's powerful.
That's what we got to be. That's how we're going to heal, Tyrone, to be color brave. That's how we're going to heal, you see?
Wow.
So that's why this election is so important, man. It's so important. You know, you can't elect somebody that parachuted in here from Mayor Duggan's office. And, you know, I know Eli. I march with Eli with Black Lives Matter from time to time, you know? He's got a good heart, but his ideology is way, way, way wrong, brother, and extremely destructive to brown and Black people. And I'll elaborate on that in a little bit. Okay. So for me, to answer your question about what I've done, I've continued to represent those women, okay? I've continued to represent largely pro bono, people coming out the penitentiary. I'm gonna tell you what else I did. People talk about they want to eliminate mass incarceration. Well, let me tell you something. No county prosecutor is going to eliminate 10,000 people from the Michigan Department of Corrections from Washtenaw County. You understand?
Taking money out of their pocket.
Yeah, anybody who is running saying, I'm going to eliminate mass incarceration, like they're going to come in, and I'm just going to kick it real, man. Like they're going to come in, they're the savior of the Black community. They're going to come here from Detroit, savior of the Black community, kind of like an Abe Lincoln part 2 or something like that. And by the way, Abe Lincoln really did not free all the slaves, brother. I hate to tell you all that. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is this: if you want to address mass incarceration, it has to be on a state level. It has to be legislatively through the Michigan Supreme Court. I'm gonna tell you what I've done. In 1998, the state of Michigan, and God bless my fellow citizens, they passed one of the most draconian laws in the history of the state of Michigan. It's called truth in sentencing.
Wow.
Truth in sentencing.
I remember that.
What truth in sentencing did, it eliminated disciplinary credits. See, when I was going through the system for good conduct, I could get time off so I could see the parole board earlier. You understand what I'm saying? To have a chance of parole. Truth in sentencing eliminated disciplinary credits. It eliminated correction centers, and it put in disciplinary time. What disciplinary time is, if you get a major misconduct ticket, okay? That's put in time, but it's not added time to your sentence, but it's time that the parole board knows about on their way to flopping you, okay?
Right.
So what I did with an activist by the name of Miss Amani Sawari, I put on a special broadcast about trying to repeal truth in sentencing, to give people a chance for humanity. Because Tyrone, when you give somebody a 5 to 15 year sentence and you say they got to do that flat 5 before they can see the parole, you're not rehabilitating that person, you warehousing that person.
That's
right.
right.
See, that's what John Engler said. He said, I'd stack these people like cordwood if I could. That's how inhumane he was. I'm totally different, Tyrone.
I came from the South Side, of course, man. I know some brothers right now, they locked up and thrown the key away and they shouldn't have. Shannon Rich was one of my brothers that I grew up with, one of my childhood friends. A lot of brothers on the South Side back in the early 80s was locked up and thrown away the key. Brian Mackey was a devil, and I'm going to say it like it is. Brian Mackey was a devil, and I don't need you to say it. I'm saying it for you. I want to ask one other question. I'm going to play the devil's advocate, coming to you from the other perspective. What if you got a bunch of, and I'm straightforward, blunt. You got a bunch of white voters, maybe voters that don't care too much about the black movement. What if one of the voters would say, why should I vote for that nigga? He been to prison. Talk to me about that, man. Because them the questions that you won't get from none of the debates. You will not get that in a church. You probably won't get it in no auditorium, but you getting it from I Thought You Knew. All right. If somebody was to ask you, why should I vote for that nigga? He been locked up. Talk to me.
Let me tell you this. Most people in this nation consider themselves to be Christian, okay? Black people too, Baptists, AME, Church of God in Christ, and a lot of white folks too, okay, consider themselves to be Christian or Judeo-Christian, all right? So the first thing I'm gonna do, and I'm proud of my Christianity, I'm gonna kick it to people black or white. You talk about you don't want to trust somebody been locked up. I know a man by the name of Jesus Christ, when was locked up, the man was crucified, you understand?
Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all of them was locked
up. That's right. You see, Malcolm locked up. Martin, letter from a Birmingham jail. You understand what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying? Harriet Tubman, Rick's not only being locked up, but being killed, you see? So what I would say to one of my white brothers and sisters who said that, I would say to them what Harriet Tubman said to black folks. I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves. So for a white person to tell me, why should I vote for you? You showing me that you caught up in supremacy. You caught up in classism. Let me tell you something, as a veteran criminal defense attorney. You know what I learned? That defendant's chair has got everybody and nobody's name on it at the same time.
Okay, put a period on that one right there. Let's go back on the black perspective.
Okay.
What if you got a bunch of black voters that's saying, that nigga don't stand a chance. That nigga been locked up. He black like me. I don't think I'll vote for him. I don't think he'll win. Talk to the voters like that, man. Talk to them voters that's asking that question.
You know what? A man by the name of Malcolm X once described two groups of black folk. One that was in the field and one that was in the house. You understand? The ones in the field were people that struggled through indignities. You understand? They knew they were slaves. The ones in the house adopted the slave master's mentality. The ones in the house loved the slave master more than the slave master loved himself. The ones in the house, if the master got sick, they said, Master, is we sick? Is we sick? You understand? If the master's house caught on fire, they would fight to put the fire out more than the master would because they adopted his mentality. You know, in psychology, they have what's known as Stockholm Syndrome. And that is where the victims take the mentality of the people that's captivating them.
Wow.
So for me, for any black person to say Hugo Mack can't win, when you know for over 400 years, black people have been told we can't win, for any black woman to say Hugo Mack can't win when she's born a black son, don't you know she's saying he can't win? For any black man who's ever been discriminated against, and everybody has because of the color of your skin, whether you know it or not, in a systemic racist system, okay? Then that means you can't win. That means you can't win. Because if you think you're immune from the system, because you got a good job at Ford's, or what, you retired with a good pension, or your grandmama left you a house, there's nothing about you that's great. And let me just segue back to white folks for a minute. A woman named Martha Stewart never thought she could be in prison either. You understand? You see? So don't let white privilege fool you, because the biggest mistake a person can make is just like when the Nazis were terrorizing Jews and gypsies, is to think, well, that's them, it ain't us. But you know what? When they ran out of Jews and gypsies, they turned on other people. And pretty soon, the Catholics, for example, it was nobody left to say, oh, wow. So that's my message to black people. Don't ever give up on yourself and what you are. Don't ever be ashamed to look in the mirror and acknowledge who and what you are, and adopt somebody's mentality that Hugo Mack can't win. Well, if you say Hugo Mack can't win, that means you casting your vote from the house. I'm casting my vote from the field.
Say that, bro. That's a hell of a segue to go into actually give you the flow and actually talk to all voters right now, all voters who've been oppressed, all voters who've actually had sexual assaults, all voters who've actually been wronged by Washtenaw County Prosecuting Attorney's Office, Brian Mackey. Talk to them voters, talk to them young folks out there who are 18, who really don't even give a damn about voting. And they say, why should I vote? It ain't gonna matter any damn way. Talk to them, Hugo.
See, the problem with that is this. The people who want to oppress you want you to think that way. And once again, I gotta be real blunt, Tyrone. I think you know where I am by now. I gotta be real blunt. You got two types of black folk. The ones from the field and the ones from the house. The ones in the house say, I cannot vote. I don't need to vote. It ain't gonna matter. That means you done got comfortable. You have got comfortable with your oppression. You have got comfortable with being the victim of systemic racism. You've got comfortable being the victim of classism because it's natural to you. You've accepted it. So when people have died to give you the right to vote and you say you ain't gonna vote, you spitting on Medgar Evers' grave. You spitting on Malcolm's grave. You spitting on King's grave. But not only that, you spitting on a white woman from suburban Detroit named Viola Liuzzo. You spitting on her grave. That woman stepped outside of her privilege to go to the South, Alabama, and got murdered trying to register black people to vote. She didn't have to do that. She didn't have to do that.
Wow.
You spitting on the hundreds of thousands of white folks that have put their lives on the line to stand up. You understand? You spitting on their graves. So if you got such disrespect for yourself, that's the epitome of self-hate, man. Because I notice this, you don't see people with Italian ancestry saying that.
No.
You don't see people with Irish ancestry saying that.
No.
You don't see people with Jewish ancestry saying that. You don't see
all.
LGBTQ people saying that. So why is it black people only want to say that, man? And we the ones that needed 3 constitutional amendments to make us even human. Nobody in the history of this nation has needed 3 constitutional amendments, 13th, 14th, and 15th to make us human. No other group of people needed civil rights legislation to make us human. So why in the world would you have such disrespect for yourself to say, I'm not gonna vote?
Hell of a question, brother. You might want to get you a little drink of water. Wow, that's powerful, bro. Hey, on another note, I want to hit you with a little bit of everything, make sure it's fresh off the dome. I don't want to sit there and forget anything. What do you think about the sheriff race? Sheriff Clayton, the incumbent, and Ken McGee. What do you think about that? Give me your opinion about that, if you have any.
Well, put it this way. No position is inherited or there forever. Because when people say, because a person is an incumbent, well, we just leave them in there. You see, that's the problem with incumbency, because you can get a bad system and it stays in. because people forfeit their right to independent thought. Now,
they get comfortable.
Now, Sheriff Clayton is an incumbent. He, excuse me, brother. He, like Mr. McGee, should present their bona fides to the public and let the public determine who it is. Mr. McGee should not be discriminated against because he's a challenger, okay? Because the seat is not a vacant seat. The seat is an incumbency with Sheriff Clayton there, you know?
Right.
I met Sheriff Clayton. I can't say that I know Sheriff Clayton well. I know he's endorsing one of my opponents. Well,
wow.
You know, I hope Sheriff Clayton is listening. I support Sheriff Clayton's right to do so, but I want Sheriff Clayton to know, when I'm prosecutor, I look forward to working with him to protect and defend the citizens of our community. That's what I want Sheriff Clayton to know, you see?
Okay, so, well, on that note, Sheriff Clayton, what do you think about Sheriff Clayton coming on this show? Mr. McGee, his opponent, has gladly accepted to coming on the show. Actually, we'll do a live debate outside in a field. And I ain't heard from Sheriff Clayton yet.
Well, put it this way. You see that I believe was the first person to respond to your reach out.
You were.
Am I right or wrong?
The very first person that responded was Hugo Mack.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie.
See, I didn't have to run it past my campaign committee. You understand?
Wow.
I didn't have to run it past a social voter group. You understand?
Or your clique.
Or my clique. I didn't have to run it past them. I didn't have to run it past the NR Police Department, the chief of police who's endorsing Ariane Slade. I didn't have to run it past Jerry Clayton, who's endorsing Ariane Slade. I didn't have to run it past anybody. Not that she did, but I'm telling you, I didn't run it past nobody. I ran it past me. And it took me about 2 seconds after reading your communication to hook back up with you. About 2 seconds, you see? Because let me tell you something. My message is the same for everybody, you see? So I go anywhere, any platform. So I think Sheriff Clayton and Challenger McGee should be able to go anywhere where the people are. Right. And kick your platform, man, because I'm gonna be a prosecutor for everybody, for people who like me and don't like me. But I tell you one thing, you looking at a man that ain't afraid to stand up in a fight. I ain't cutting and running. Me being here right now, I'm glad to be here. And I look forward to every question we got, brother, and telling you where I'm coming from.
All right. Stop now. We on Sheriff Clayton's head. Fuck him. I ain't getting off his head. Sheriff Clayton, if there's some improprieties, is there some skullduggery going on within the sheriff department up under that Negro, that black man, I'm gonna say it like it is, since he ain't brought his ass on the show or even left a voicemail. If there's some improprieties going on in the sheriff department with Jerry Clayton's name on it, will you agree right now that you will make sure you turn it over to the proper investigating authorities if you're not going to take it up yourself? This is a straight talk, straight point to you. I need to hear it, because fuck Jerry Clayton riding in on the doggone black wagon because everybody out here fighting for black rights. Jerry Clayton, you don't get no free ride from my ass. I voted for you 12 years straight. I'm tired. You won't even return my calls. I got to go through Kathy Wyatt in order for you to say, no, you won't help me. So answer that question. That's a very important question. I need to know if there's some bullshit going on at the sheriff department, and I'm still on Sheriff Jerry Clayton's head. I got one more question behind this one. Will you send this to an independent investigator, or send it to an independent prosecutor, or take it out of your office so you can show the people this total transparent? I know you're thirsty as hell. Tell me, what would you do if you find out some shit like that happen and you black and Jerry Clayton make it as sheriff? What would you do with that?
Let me tell you something. I've made it real clear, Tyrone, and this has nothing to do with Mr. Floyd, all right? You go to HugoForProsecutor2020.com and you look at my message to law enforcement, all right? I made it real clear. Unlike anybody running that's a former prosecutor endorsed by Sheriff Clayton or the Ann Arbor Chief of Police, and don't forget that, man. Don't forget that. When you talk to Ariane Slade, all right, you know, I have much respect for Ariane Slade. She's a woman, and she's a black woman. I respect all women, you know. Had black children that are, prayerfully will grow up to be a fine young man and young woman. I respect Ariane Slay. I'm not going to lie on her, but I'm not going to avoid telling the truth either. You understand?
That's what we want.
See,
Total transparency.
So for me, I made it real clear to all law enforcement, particularly law enforcement, because you have a badge and carry a gun, you are under more scrutiny than me, from me, than anybody else in society.
Say that one more time. Wait a minute. Wait. Rewind that. Say that one more time, a little bit louder. I want to let everybody hear what you just got through saying to my question.
Okay. My message to Jerry Clayton and every other law enforcement officer, as I have said in my video, message to law enforcement, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad sent a message to the black man. You understand? My message is to law enforcement. Because you carry a gun and wear a badge, you are under heightened scrutiny from me. Not because I'm against you. I need effective law enforcement, professional law enforcement, to protect Tyrone Bridges and his family. I need that. I need the policeman and woman.
I'm gonna protect my own family, because if they come for me, it's gonna be a nice war.
Okay, well, I respect that. I respect that. You have every right to defend yourself. Before we had police, everybody had a gun in the West because you couldn't count on police to come. You had to handle your business.
Got other means.
So we got a Second Amendment, which, by the way, was never intended to apply to black people. By the way, it never intended to apply to black people, which allows you to protect and defend yourself. But my point is that when we give somebody the legal authority to pull a gun and take human life away, and we pay for that gun, we pay for the bullets, we pay for the police car, we pay for the uniform, we pay for the training, we pay for all that, the insurance, the sick benefits, that salary, we allow collective bargaining agreements to increase salaries. I ain't got nothing against unions. But when you, the taxpayer, are paying for that, you should not have to pay for your own execution, Mr. Bridges. You understand? Right. You understand? So for me, I hold law enforcement to the highest standard because they got the power of life and death at arm's length away. So for me, with Sheriff Clayton, anybody else, I want to make this real clear. I want to segue into this right now, if you don't mind. If you harm one of my citizens, I don't care, and hear me clearly, Mr. Bridges. If you harm one of my citizens, I don't care if the police manual, the sheriff manual, the state police manual say it's okay for you to kneel on somebody's neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I don't care if the police manual say it's okay for you to choke somebody out. I don't care if the police manual say it's okay for you to ride somebody's back when they handcuffed and when they tell you they can't breathe and you say the police manual says it. If you abuse my system, my protection of people, bring that police manual with you into court when you stand in trial. That's my message right there.
All right. One more time. Will you refer this case or any potential allegations against the sheriff department to the attorney general when you become elected as the prosecuting attorney for Washtenaw County? If you are elected, will you have a problem with turning over an investigation to the attorney general for further review if something comes out? I need a period, point blank answer, and I got another question about the sheriff department I want to run at you.
Okay. The answer to your question is no, I will not turn it over. And I'm going to tell you why. Other people saying, yeah, farm everything out. Let me tell you something. And hear me out on this, please. I'm running on restorative justice. Restorative justice means I don't pick winners and losers. I'm a partnership with the police. I'm a partnership with churches. I'm a partnership with you. I'm a partnership with everybody who wants to make society better and whole, all right? So now, if I say I'm a partner with the police, not a friend, okay? And something come up with the police, I'm afraid that somebody gonna think that I'm biased in favor of the police. I'm perpetrating a fraud and running for this office. Because if there's anybody in society that deserves more scrutiny, it is the police. When they talk about you gonna farm it out to the attorney general, that's what Eli and Ariane's saying. Hold it. How you know the attorney general that got about 400 attorneys, how you know the attorney general that's got that case ain't pro-police all the way? How you know that, Mr. Bridges? How you know that? They say, well, they say, well, okay, well then, Hugo Mack, he got a point. Okay, we're not going to send it to the Attorney General. We're going to send it to the prosecutor in Monroe. Monroe? Is there enough black people in Monroe to fill up a park bench? Monroe? Look here. What I'm saying is this. The Attorney General is not accountable to you. The only way she's accountable to you is that you vote like 7 million other people, okay? But I'm accountable to you in Washtenaw County. You can put me out of office anytime you want. You understand? When a case is referred to Monroe County, that Monroe County prosecutor ain't accountable to you. You ain't cast no vote for that man. He can do what he want. He can do what he want. So what I'm saying is, I don't trust these other law enforcement, per se, Attorney General and the Monroe County prosecutor to do the right thing. I trust me to do the right thing. You hired me to protect you. I'm the one that's accountable to you. Now, I know in some cases people say, well, it looks improper. Look here, with all due respect, if you want a prosecutor that's going to be afraid to confront the police right here in Washtenaw County, like I'm promising you, if you want a prosecutor that's going to hide behind, well, I'm going to farm the case out, so whatever happens, don't blame me, it ain't my fault. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm the one you hiring to protect you. You ain't hiring the Monroe County prosecutor to protect you. I'm the one you hiring. You ain't hiring Dana Ness to protect you. I'm the one you hiring. So if it's a fantastic circumstance, like one of my staff members involved, yeah, I'm gonna farm it out. But I'm not farming out cases, because if somebody is accused of breaking into your house, I ain't gonna farm that out.
So wait, so you're saying the buck stops at you no matter what, as far as accountability to the sheriff department once when you get elected, period.
As far as accountability to the people.
The people. I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
One other quick thing before I forget. I don't want to get off this. This is one of the hottest topics in 2020. And it's another hot topic in 2020 that they ain't found out what happened. But the sister that was beat by that cop, the whole situation, in my opinion, was screwed up. And you got Sheriff Clayton coming out with the video talking about she bit him. Wait a minute. Rewind. If that cop wouldn't have bear hugged her, her teeth would have never hit him. My thing is this. When I looked at that video, the 20 times I saw it over and over and over again, because I was trying to see what the hell Jerry Clayton was talking about. I saw Jerry Clayton's mama being tackled by that same damn cop. And I said to myself, I wonder if my mama was tackled by a cop outside of fighting with martial arts, what the hell would anybody do if a cop grab you out of nowhere, wrap you up, and grabs you? What I don't understand is the show the motherfucker put on. And Jerry Clayton, no, you ain't getting my vote. So don't even think about you getting it. You put on the show. That cop disrespected that sister. And you come on with your little tight ass damn sheriff department suit on and song and dance talking about the video speaks for itself. Man, get the hell out of here, Sheriff Clayton. Ain't no damn way you gonna justify that man running over, tackling that sister. You ain't even say nothing about him tackling her. He didn't have to. He had 4 to 5 doggone tools in his tool belt to deal with a situation, from lethal to the less lethal, which is pepper spray. Please comment on this, because I'm gonna be on Jerry's ass on this one, and I hope he continues to ignore us.
Well, let me say this, all right? As your next county prosecutor, I promise that I'm never going to rush to judgment, nor will I retreat from the truth, okay? So just growing up as a man, okay, we were trained to have tremendous deference and respect for women, you see? In my neighborhood, if you caught somebody beating up a girl, we dealt with him directly, okay? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm saying this. I've seen the video, and I'm talking about the video that was taken in the streets. The video is very, very disturbing, okay?
Right.
And I've seen some of the body cam video. And I will say this. There are many people who would like me to make a definitive statement. I will not make a definitive statement because I've not seen all of the evidence. I've seen the videos. I've heard Miss Grady Hill speak, by the way, a very, very eloquent speaker. You understand what I'm saying? And I understand what she is saying. I do know this, though. When a person is being held, all right, your natural instinct is to resist, especially if you feel you're being hurt. You see, people need to understand. They talk about training with police, de-escalation, and things like that. So one of the things that I want to know, was there some other way to de-escalate that situation without the need for physical force, all right? If you can isolate a person, or let's say you think that, well, there's a shooter in the area, something like that. If you can isolate that area, all right, without having to have interaction with people, you know, particularly trying to restrain them and certainly tasing them. Mr. Grady Hill was tased, you know. So
right. I ain't get on him yet. That was terrible right there too. Like that was Johnny come lately tased.
So what I'm saying is, I'm not going to say, because I cannot say, in fairness to justice.
I appreciate that,
Mr. Bridges. I cannot say, but I will say this: if a person is not coming towards you to attack you, I'm very concerned about tasing that person. Especially a person could be walking up to you to talk to you, as a matter of fact. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Or some other situation. Now, I'm gonna tell you this: as a husband, if I see my wife in distress, I'm gonna do something about that. Okay.
Period. My kids. Period.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna do something about that.
We're not gonna have court. I'm gonna tell you that now. I'm telling you as the prosecutor. Somebody bother my kids.
Yeah.
You won't see me in no courtroom. Maybe you'll see a bunch of news crew helicopters around here. But I'm not going like that. Like that sheriff, that deputy disrespect that doggone uniform. And all I was saying, that Sheriff Clayton did a softball tap and dance. He did a show move right there. That was a straight up show move. I would have called him a pimp if he was just an everyday turnkey like I met him before. I would call him a damn pimp, because that wasn't right. Only pimps hit they hoes. She wasn't no hoe. She was a sister. She was somebody's mama. She was somebody's daughter. And I wish she was a percentage of kin to me. It would be a doggone storm coming down that doggone sheriff department. Y'all would have to kill me. Trust me. Y'all would have to kill me. That wouldn't happen to my people. Your family would suffer. But I'm being honest. That right there, all I could see was Jerry Clayton's mama when that cop was beating on. And I said, wait, damn, if that would have been one of my police officers, get the message. I'm one of them black men ain't playing. I'm telling you what I'm gonna do to you. Fuck with mines, it's a wrap. You can go ahead and take the flow back. I had to put that on the flow because I'm 100% serious. We not doing racism no more.
Well, I fully understand what you're saying. I mean, you know, for me, let me give you a little bit of background. Growing up in Ann Arbor in the early 70s, I had a situation, mistaken identity. 5 Ann Arbor police cars and officers, about 10 of them, surrounded my car, pulled guns out, okay? Had me mistaken for somebody else. You know, back then in the early 70s, I had a lot more hair on my head than I do now, okay? So,
it don't matter.
So what happened was, supposedly there was a report of some black guy with a weapon, okay? Well, I fit the description of about 10,000 black guys in Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, you understand what I'm saying? But I realized I was angry, man. I was angry. You know, police said, don't move, put your hands up on the steering wheel. I was so angry and incensed, I started just to get out the car and confront them. I probably would have been killed. So what I'm saying is that is an anger not only in me, it's an anger and a distrust based over hundreds of years of mistreatment, Mr. Bridges,
That's
okay?
Right.
Hundreds of years of mistreatment where police have been in an incestuous love affair with prosecutors. That's what I'm saying. I am the candidate to bring a change to that.
Wow.
I am not Ariane Slay, endorsed by the chief of police in Ann Arbor.
Wow.
The same Ann Arbor Police Department that shot and killed Orr Rozier. You understand?
Wow, bro.
You understand? See, I'm not Ariane Slay, who 90 days before Orr Rozier was killed in November 2014, had a case come across her desk with R. Rozier, where the police said the woman is crying out for help. She got a knife, she's acting crazy. The man is saying she's trying to cut him. Ariane Slay decided because she can't win, she's not going to do nothing. When I'm the prosecutor, it's not going to be about winning. It's going to be about humanity. R. Rozier needed help. Now, am I blaming Ariane Slay for R. Rozier's death? I am not. I am not. I think Ariane Slay is a noble woman. But I am blaming the system under her boss, Brian Mackey. And you see, you can't escape who trained you. You can't escape who promoted you. You can't escape who endorsed you. You can't say that I'm riding with Brian Mackey by an endorsement and his money, but then I'm gonna come to the Black community and talk about I want change, okay? You can't be that. You can't put, new wine in old wineskin, Mr. Bridges. It's gonna stink, you understand? It's gonna stink, it's poison. So what I'm saying is, in terms of R. Rozier, especially when I hear Ariane Slay say that no woman's cry goes unheard by her, how she spent 6 years defending a victim of domestic violence. If Ariane Slay did not let down R. Rozier, the system that she was trained under certainly did. I'm going to bring a difference to that.
Well, Hugo, I need you to do just touch on this right here, bro. Recently, there was a 6-year-old boy shot. And it's in the news. Actually, it was in the news this morning. Last night, too. Supposed to be in Superior Township. Is there a message that you would like to send out there to all these little young African-American boys, men who out here being reckless in our county? To the point that actually a kid got shot, a 6-year-old kid got shot. Talk to him, please.
Look here. I spent my career defending them young knuckleheads. And I'm going to tell them their face, young knuckleheads, all right? John Dillinger is not you. You understand? Jesse James is not you. You understand what I'm telling you? Frank James is not you. You understand? You understand? John Gotti is not you. Those are all men of privilege. None of them is you, all right? They got glorified for what they did. You're going to get juvenile detention to jail and prison for what you're doing. So you got to understand, put the rap music down, put the music that says it's okay to dehumanize another human being, put the rap music down, and I know you're a DJ, nothing against you.
Right, I ain't saying nothing because some of this bullshit I hear out the streets is yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, put that bovine, you almost had me going on the reel. Okay?
I know. This is a real show.
put that bovine down and realize your greatest asset is the God force within you. Quit hating yourself. Oh man, he don't know what he's talking about. I love myself. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because when you look at another young black man, a young black boy, and you got seething hate in your heart for them, you're going to try to come tough to them because they scuffed up your gym shoes, or they try to talk to Susie Mae or Kadisha when you trying to talk to them, or y'all done got in a scuffle. You done took a tail whipping. Guess what? I done took many of them. Won some too. You understand? See, the difference between me and them, and probably you and your generation, when the fight was over, it was over. If it didn't, if we had to go second round, knuckle up, but it reached a point where it's over, man. The gun, and remember the movie New Jack City? Remember the movie New Jack City?
Yes,
remember
sir.
Nino Brown when he was on the witness stand?
Yes, sir.
He said, let's kick the logistics. He said, ain't no Uzis made in Harlem. You got to understand, the people providing you these guns are people who don't love you. They profiting off of you. Off of you. See what I'm saying?
And young fellas, I'm sorry for jumping in, Hugo. Young fellas, don't get it twisted as to what he's saying now. Don't get in your little feelings. What we talking about is you young brothers recklessly throwing your life away, shooting at people, and you hit a 6-year-old. You'll be found. But the bad part about it is when you be found, you'll be passed on to the wrong system. You'll be caught up in the system. And it's not going to affect just you. Your lonely ass ain't going to sit in that cell by yourself and hurt. Your mama gonna hurt. Your daddy gonna hurt. Your grandparent gonna hurt. Your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, your homies. that was supposed to been down for you, they gonna leave your ass. Your girlfriend is gonna leave your ass. Young boys, and I call y'all young boys because y'all gonna do all day when they catch you. Y'all shot a 6-year-old boy, a 6-year-old child. That child didn't have nothing to do with you. That child did not have nothing to do with your beef or your anger. And see, we interviewing a black prosecutor, a black man who been locked up and rebound. He did a 180 and rebound. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hugo.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
How in the hell is our black men? I'm gonna call you what you are. You young black boys are going to destroy your life, and you got brothers like Hugo Mack that been there, done that, did a 180. You got brothers like myself, been there, done that, 180. I ain't had to pull no guns on nobody. You gotta check yourself, brothers. While we out here fighting for justice for blacks, you out here doing that black on black violence. You shot a 6-year-old child. God ain't happy. The community ain't happy. And the prosecutor here, when he get in office, he ain't gonna be happy either. So once again, y'all, I'm bringing this to you live. 100% real talk. How many people know any Negroes in Washtenaw County was able to interview a prosecutor? I'll wait. Don't nobody got an answer for me. Interview him real. How many of them? Me. I'll talk like I'm supposed to. I ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing. Do I know you, Hugo? Do I know you at all?
No.
Isn't this the first time we really kicked it?
Absolutely. I know your mama, your late mama. I know her, but I don't know you.
My mama died July 1st, 2006. God rest her soul. But she pushed me into this world to do something great. And all I'm trying to tell y'all is we got to look at what we got right here. I'm going to shine my camera right here, and we going to look. There's 2 black men. You want to get real? There's 2 Negroes. 2 positive black men trying to do something for our town, our county, our city. Young black men, 18 years old. We seen y'all pictures all on the news this morning. You ain't gonna be able to vote. Your picture is gonna be enhanced. Detroit is actually gonna do a facial recognition on you, if not Washtenaw County. They're gonna tap on your door. So the noble thing that you might want to do is turn yourself in. Turn yourself in. I'm sorry, Hugo, I had to step in on this, but I don't think we're gonna get 2 black men ever on Zoom live talking to anybody that's gonna talk real as we didn't talk today. What you think?
I think you're right. You see, and the thing of it is this. Let me tell you something. In terms of black violence, let me tell you what you do not need to do. You do not need to elect a social scientist who may mean well, but will bring death and destruction on the black community and sacrifice members of the black community on the altar of social science.
Wow.
And I'm kicking it directly to Eli Sabbath. And I hope you're watching, Eli. Nothing I'm saying now I wouldn't say to your face, which I said Saturday. Let me tell you something. Black folks, and this is no excuse for crime. You see what I'm saying? Because when you shoot a kid, don't tell me you defending your turf. Don't tell me you defending your manhood. Don't tell me you standing up for yourself. Nobody disrespected you. You go around shooting in people's houses with babies and women and elderly people and me. I ain't got no beef with you. You don't even know who I am. You gonna take my life? No, you ain't no man. You's a punk. You's a punk that's hiding behind a gun. And when I'm the prosecutor, if I see you doing punk things, I'm gonna treat you like a punk. Now, That means you don't want to vote for me? Well, go ahead. Go ahead and don't. Okay.
They ain't gonna vote any damn way.
See what I'm saying? Well then don't. But I'm gonna tell you this. Let me tell you one of the big problems I got with Eli Savage. Okay. And like I said, I don't really know Eli, but you know, I march with him for Black Lives Matter. That's nice. That's nice. But Eli Savage said, and I think you have some literature from a group called Liberate, Don't Incarcerate. Okay. Mm-hmm. They asked the candidates some questions. One of the questions they asked is, do you promise? And promise means forever, Mr. Bridges. It means forever. Do you promise you will never charge somebody with an offense that could put them in prison for the rest of their life? Eli Savage said, yeah, I promise that. Now, think about the person who shot that 6-year-old, okay? Think about if somebody's dead, okay? What Eli Savage did to the person who shot that little baby, the second that gun discharged, Eli Savage as a prosecutor in 2021, that shooter know one thing. Eli Savage got my back. Because he promised this group, I will never, and remember, never means forever, Mr. Bridges.
That's right.
Never means forever.
That's right.
I will never charge anybody with a first-degree murder, okay? I will never charge, because in Michigan, first-degree murder says life in prison without parole. So Eli Savage has just given a pass to that shooter if a baby dies.
So he just basically threw his power out as a prosecutor up front.
Not only threw his power out, but put that baby on an altar of social science. Okay, you understand? You understand? You see, because Abraham was fitting to sacrifice Isaac, fitting to put a dagger in his heart. Am I right or wrong?
No, that story real well.
Okay, see. So what Eli has done, and Eli, get on here and tell Mr. Bridges I'm wrong. Get on here and show the scorecard, Eli.
I got the scorecard, so he got to come correct on the show.
Okay. Tell me I'm wrong, Tyrone. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. I got the scorecard.
See, them people gave me a D-. They gave Eli an A+, all right? Let me tell you something. In all my years of schooling, I ain't never been so proud of a failing grade in my life. Okay? See what I'm saying?
Me too.
See what I'm saying? Okay.
They just didn't understand it.
So furthermore, that's what a social scientist who ain't got no experience will do. Secondly, he said, I'm not going to charge nobody with an offense that can put them in prison for some decades. You done took second-degree murder off the table. If they say you done took CSC first degree off the table.
Wow.
You done took arson off the table.
Wow.
You done took kidnapping off the table. You done took child abuse first degree off the table. But it don't only stop there. Eli Savage said, because I do not agree with minimum sentences, mandatory minimum sentences on crimes, I refuse to charge any charge that carries a mandatory minimum.
Wow.
Mr. Bridges, in the state of Michigan, felony firearm carries a mandatory minimum sentence.
Wow.
So if you got a wife, I don't know if you do, a niece, a kid.
No, that ain't a plug, y'all. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm just saying, I'm just hypothetically speaking. You got somebody you love.
That's
all right?
right. That's right.
That person coming out the store, Kroger's got a bag full of groceries. Somebody put a gun to that person's head. Now, this is somebody you love now, Tyrone. Somebody you love.
I got
and say, give me your money, give me your wallet. When they put that gun to that person's head, they know one thing. Eli Savage got my back. Because I'm using a gun, commission of a felony, he ain't going to charge me because mandatory.
I ain't going to get a life sentence.
And Eli, get on in front of Tyrone Bridges and tell me I'm wrong, Eli. Tell me I'm wrong. Don't make no excuses, Eli. Don't say, well, Hugo is technically right, but I don't really mean it that way. If you didn't mean it that way, you shouldn't answer the question yes. See what I'm saying?
All right.
I answered it truthfully. They didn't give me no big green check mark. They gave me a big red X. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
See?
Now you done dropped some heat on this show, bro. You done really dropped some heat. Now, I mean, all I can hear is crickets now. I mean, you done dropped some heat. We got some questions to ask, and we got some answers to get. And I really appreciate you, man, for actually coming on the show, man, because this is another way that you can have a platform to yourself and talk freely and not be muzzled.
That's right. Much respect.
So I'm gonna hopefully have you back on the show next week. Hopefully, I'm gonna hopefully have an answer by Friday, because that's all it's gonna take us. It's only gonna take us a couple minutes to actually sift through the videos and get our opinion poll out there and see who we gonna support. But you brought some heat today, man. And I ain't even gonna lie, bro. I didn't even really want to do it. Somebody told me, I bet you can't do it. And I had to prove them that it can be done. So that's the reason why I wanted you on the show, just like I want all the other prosecutors on the show. Don't be afraid of heat, because when you get into office, when the heat comes, it's, hey, you got to get used to it early. And the same thing with the sheriff and also Mr. McGee. I don't hate Sheriff Clayton. I dislike the hell out of him because he do not return my calls. I got to go through Kathy Wyatt and Derek Jackson. They must be Jesus. They need to be sheriff instead of Jerry. Well, anyhow, like I said, brother, I'm going to make this real quick and cut this short because you cover some ground, man. And a lot of our voters is going to need to process all this power. And we're going to keep on running this, man. Tonight is going to be a busy night. And hopefully, in the next 19 minutes, we check our voicemail and see if Sheriff Clayton left a message. Because if he didn't, come 5 o'clock today, after the interview, it's on and popping. That's all I can say, bro. Stay tuned. And once again, y'all, when y'all signed in, y'all probably didn't see the Zoom live come on Facebook because y'all know Facebook had a ways on selectively allowing certain things on Facebook. And I ain't even got to tell y'all that. It ain't rocket science. They'll cut you off if they don't want you to share no power. But once again, y'all, this is Tyrone Bridges, what I thought you knew. And I got my man here, Mr. Hugo J. Mack. Handsome fella. Handsome fella. We appreciate you for coming on. Thank you for answering the call, bro. And let them know. Vote for Hugo because you ain't scared to come on this show. All right?
100% real. Much respect, Tyrone. Much respect.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. God bless you.
God bless you too, brother.
Peace.
All right. Peace.